Hello guys and welcome back to the Sportsman Untitled Extra. And we've got such a good video for you today because we're going to have a top 6 debate. We're going to have a look at the teams in the top 6 and the teams outside the top 6 and decide who we think is going to make the playoffs at the end of this season. We're coming up to the third international break. It's a very exciting time of year, Gab. We need to decide. Surely there's 2 teams we agree on in the top 6 at the end of the season, right? Can we do that?
Coventry and Ipswich. We're all agreed on that?
Yep, unanimous.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any more debate on that? Just looking strong. And why Ipswich? They're down in 9th right now.
Yeah, they're down in 9th. I think there'll be January investment on the video we did earlier on as well. We were going through the profiles. Gab was listing off the amount of talent that they've got, what they can bring off the bench. Jaden Philogene, Jack Clark, Jens Kjust. The team is full of superstars at Championship level. They will grow, they will get better, the cohesiveness will develop, and McKenna's going to be there for the full season, in my opinion, despite rumours taking him elsewhere. So
I think it's worth knowing as well, before we continue, that we're recording this on Monday before the midweek game. So we're talking about the table as it stands now. We're talking about maybe Southampton later in the video. We don't know who the manager's going to be. We know it's not Will still. Go on, Gab.
Well, I think it shows the fact that we've all got this confidence in Ipswich. I think we can say in the top 2 kind of shows the state of the league, where Ipswich had this poor start. They have got 16 points from their last 8 games, so they're very much on the right track, but they dropped a lot of points in August. But I think it was a reflection that a lot of the teams up and around it are teams that we weren't expecting to be there in the anti-post. Middlesbrough, before the season, people were sceptical of. Stoke City, everyone had in the bottom half. Millwall, I don't think many people had in their top 6. Bristol City, I think, were mid-table for a lot of people. Preston, I had in my bottom 3, and I had Hull there as well. Charlton, sort of slightly above. So it shows there's lots of teams in and around it that weren't expected to be there. I think some of them will last the course, and some might not have the staying power.
I think that's what makes this conversation so interesting, looking at those top 8 teams, no parachute payment teams as things stand, which is so exciting and so unusual. Any next pick that you're looking at? I am looking at Stoke City as a team that I'm feeling really, really positive about at the moment. I think their squad moving forward, Sorba Thomas, striker Divan Barber, whose name I always get wrong, being unbelievable, Millian Manhoff. I think they just look really, really good, Gab. So I'm going to say Stoke are going to make the top 6 at the end of the season. And at the end of this video, we're going to try and order our individual top 6. So stay tuned for that. How are you feeling about Stoke? And how are you feeling about Borough? Because they're in 2nd right now, Connor. Oh, that's a big sigh.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. They've fallen off a little bit. The statistics have fallen off as well at this moment in time with Borough. I just think it's not a damning indictment on them as a football side. I think they'll be in and around the top 6. I just worry about their staying power, how effective are they going to be in January once again. I think the big context is here, January and squad depth. I can see a couple of clubs going in and Borough being a little bit vulnerable. I've got them outside my top 6.
I've got them outside as well, which feels like a bit of a shock thing to say. Gab, how are you feeling about Borough?
Yeah, I think there's definitely people like Dana Malt and other Middlesbrough podcasters have sort of implied a little bit of scepticism about Middlesbrough's start. They've obviously got some great results and they found themselves on the right side of fine margins, and there's even talk that, if Wolves went for Rob Edwards, they would be disappointed to lose him but not necessarily feel like that would destroy them. So it shows how, recently, and 1 point from the last 2 games, it sort of shifted things a little bit in terms of the conversation around Middlesbrough. I do think left wing back is maybe a question mark for them, because Sammy Silvera started there at the start of the season at a position. More recently, they've got Matt Targett, who really struggled against Watford. They targeted him, you might say.
Are they in your top 6 though?
So are they in my top 6? No, they're not.
I've put Stoke in. Have you got Stoke?
Yeah, I've got Stoke
in.
We've all got Stoke. We've all agreed on Stoke. That's very good. Looking further down the table, interestingly, haven't put Millwall in there. And I feel like they're always the nearly men, aren't they, Connor? And I just feel that might continue, despite their really good form under Alex Neil.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is, obviously, Alex Neil has done it before with Norwich. I think that's important. I think it's really important as well that we're not getting the normal sort of barrage of the league that you get from the newly relegated sides. I think Millwall will be very opportunistic there, and in terms of sneaking into that 6 for me. They've got a good goal difference, 4 wins in the last 5. They've created a real unit. the Den is always an absolute nightmare, and I feel like it will grow and grow and grow as they start getting that momentum throughout the season as well. I have got Millwall in my top 6 this season, and they will be an absolute nightmare in the playoffs as well to play, like we said last season.
I struggle with the, I don't know, goals scored, goals conceded at the time of recording. Only 1 goal between them, 15 goals for Millwall conceded in 13 games. They don't score that many goals. I love Ivanovic. I don't know. I just think they might finish 7th again.
I think I would make the case for Millwall because they've got a squad. They've really started investing in talent in the last 18 months or so under James Berylson and Steve Gallen. And I do think that with the talents like Zach Sturge in there and Femi Aziz, who they signed from Reading, I think they've got some really exciting players. And you add to that the experience of Jake Cooper and Casper De Nora, who's got a lovely pass in his locker, and Ivanovic, who we know can catch fire as well. They're 4th before Ivanovic has even, caught the fire that we saw from him in the second half of last season, and that's what excites me about Millwall. So for that reason, sounds like the apprentice there. Yeah, for that reason, either you're fired or I'm out. But I'm in on Millwall.
Okay, very good indeed. I'm going to clump together the next few teams in the table: Bristol City, Preston, Hull, Charlton. I think all quite shockingly doing really, really well. Maybe, as Gab alluded to further down in the table, that in our pre-season predictions. Have any of them done enough to convince you that they'll make the top 6 at the end of the season?
No. I think...
Great, thanks.
Yeah, there you go. I think Heckenbottom, just to touch on Preston, has done an excellent job. The overhaul in the summer as well, getting the best out of the likes of Whiteman, Devine. We were just speaking about that, Lewis Dobbin. Staying power again. There is a massive strength when it comes to the second half of the season with certain teams in this division. It's all looking great now. The Championship's looking very unusual. But I think that dynamic will change. It will swing the other way, and I think you're going to see that in the second half of the season, as I've just mentioned. I don't see Bristol City in there under Gerhard Struber, to be honest with you. I think it is the style of play I don't feel will get them into that top 6 with his intensity, the man-orientated press. I think there's going to be a few teams who pick them off, like the powerful Stoke did this weekend. Hull City doing a brilliant job at this moment in time. Once again, staying power. I don't think they've got enough squad depth. Nathan Jones doing an excellent job at Charlton. Is it enough to stay the course with some of the teams that we've put in there? I don't think so.
Gab, are you different on any of those 4?
No, I think interestingly with Hull City, when I spoke to Nathaniel Witte from the Hull and Back podcast for my summer deep dive on them, the consensus was that Hull would be stronger in the defensive areas than going forward because they had the likes of Pander and Charlie Hughes. So it's actually surprised me a little bit that Hull have been very ruthless going forward and they've been so dangerous. Joe Gelhardt has been in great form, and actually defensively that's probably where they've struggled. So that surprised me a little bit. I just think I don't trust Hull City as a structural entity enough to back them for the top 6.
So we've moved further down the table now, and we need to talk about teams we think will now break into the top 6. And Birmingham City, I'm still positive on. I just think they've got the squad. The manager can turn things around. A big win at the weekend. I think they'll spend hopefully again in January if they need to. Gab, yeah. Are we all agreed Birmingham City can make the top 6? How have we ended up on this?
I've got them in the top 6.
I had them in 6th at the start of the season. Mentioned at the start of the season that I think they'll maybe struggle to find their feet a little bit. I really like Chris Davis as a gaffer, and I think they're going to go in January. So yeah,
we've all got Birmingham in. That's absolutely fine. The one team I've picked out, maybe this is just a bit of recency bias under Xavi Gracia, but I really fancy Watford to make the top 6 this season. I think they've got such great individual quality. Chapfordadze, we've barely seen anything of him this season. Imran Losers, one of the best midfielders in the league. I think the good vibes are back at Vicarage Road. I think they can take advantage and overtake some of those clubs above them and scrape in.
Do they have enough of that experience core, that bit of know-how, though, that balance where, you know how Millwall have the Jake Cooper and Casper De Nora? Do Watford have that sort of balance? That's probably the thing that I would question with Watford. Yeah,
there's a lot of potency with Watford, especially going forward. They can beat anyone on the day. We've all seen that. They are, when Watford are at sort of 8 or 9, especially at Vicarage Road, it's a serious problem. The away form drastically needs to improve. We all know that, but we know, the imbalance of that isn't because of Javi Gracia. I just wonder if they've got the staying power throughout the season. I think there's a level of inconsistency that will probably be an issue for Watford throughout the season. They'll be exceptional in some games, but I think in the majority of games as well, like you've just quite rightly said, it is that Championship experience that might.
I think they're going to be a high floor, low ceiling team, Watford. So it wouldn't surprise me if they stayed around 10th for that reason.
The home form and the away form is probably quite symptomatic of that, what it is now. That's probably
absolutely. I believe in the manager, I believe in the squad and the attacking players. So I've got 5 of my teams locked in, which is Coventry, Stoke, Ipswich, Birmingham and Watford. Who are your top 5 at the moment? And then we'll come to a team further down the table, I think, Connor.
My top 5 at the minute in no particular order. I've gone Cov, Stoke, Millwall and
Ipswich.
That takes me to 4, and then Birmingham, not in any particular order.
And what about you, Gab? Have you got a 5 at the moment?
I've got 5. Coventry, Ipswich, Stoke, Millwall and Birmingham are my 5. And I've got a shock 6th.
I think I've got a shock 6th as
I think I've got a shock 6th.
We've all got shock 6th.
We've all got a shock. We're all Spartacus. I'm going with Derby County. I think I think you're only going to need 70 points because I think lots of teams are going to take points off one another in the Championship this year. Derby County have got 17 points from their first 13 games. I think they can get 53 points from 33 games under John Eustace, who I think is a brilliant manager. I think the reason they started slowly because they had a lot of players out injured in August. I think they've since corrected that. I think they've got more support now for Carlton Morris. Ozo coming into midfield has done really well for them. I like the back 3. I'm fancying Derby to put a run together, and they're the ones to watch.
At the time of recording, they're amazingly only 5 points off the playoffs, which just shows how wide open this division is.
By the way, gambling's not going to be for everyone, but 9-1 for the top 6.
Talking of another team, which odds aren't as good, Connor, but I think we both fancy them. It's the team currently in 21st place in the Championship who've just sat their manager. Southampton for the top 6. Come on.
I have to back Southampton because I had them winning the league under Will Still. So I've kind of got to go back to it again. Look,
talk to me about XG.
XG. We all love it, don't we? We all love it. The eye test isn't a thing anymore. But they've scored 13 goals. Their XG is 3rd in the division at this moment in time at 23. They've got a very, very good team still. Finazaz, Manning at the back as well. Taylor Howard-Bellis, Nathan Wood, Archer, Armstrong, Fellows, Flynn Downs. There is a lot of players in that team who, if you get the right man in with the correct profiles, which I think Southampton will, there's an obvious candidate there for me, as we mentioned before, potentially Michael Carrick. What are they, 10 points off?
Yeah.
10 points off. There's a January window to come as well. Top 6 for me.
I'm absolutely in agreement with you. I think their squad blows everything out of the water, and I can't trust Sheffield United. I wanted to pick a team lower down to really fly up the table.
Is it the best squad outside of Ipswich in the division?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
It's got to count for something, hasn't it?
Yeah, and I don't think with Leicester we can back them to really rise, maybe a possible points deduction. So I'm going to back Southampton to get in the top 6 as well.
I suppose what I would question maybe is, firstly, can we put enough faith in Southampton not knowing who their next manager is going to be? Because they might get the appointment wrong. I think a lot's going to depend on that. And also, for that matter, Leicester have 5 more points than Southampton. Their numbers haven't been as good, but they are in a strong position, and I would say their squad is probably at a similar level.
There might be a points deduction though, Gab, with Leicester. We never know, do we? That is underlying. We don't know. Yeah. Right, let's quickly go through your 6-1. Who's in the top 6? In what order? Connor, I'm going to start with you first. Who have you got? Sixth to go upwards.
Sixth, I've gone with Birmingham City. 5th, I've gone with Southampton.
I was wondering how high you were going to get them. First.
4th, I have gone with Stoke City. 3rd, I've gone with Millwall. 2nd, I have gone with Coventry. League winners, Ipswich.
Wow. Gab, give me your 6-1, please.
My 6th, I've got Derby sneaking in. 5th, I've got Birmingham City. 4th, I've got Millwall. 3rd, I've got Stoke City. 2nd, I've got Ipswich. And 1st, I've got Coventry City.
Wow, Gab.
Simon?
Wow. I've gone for 6th, Watford, just sneaking in there. 5th, Stoke. This is getting quite high now for Southampton. 4th, Birmingham.
Wow, Southampton.
3rd, Southampton. 2nd, Cov. I think Ipswich will win the league.
I thought you were going to go with Cov.
No, I think the squad depth of Ipswich will be too much and they will eventually run away with it. Thank you both for joining me. Make sure you get your thoughts. Give us your top 6 in the comments down below. Have your say. Like and subscribe while you're there. And we'll see you on Monday for a full episode of the Sportsman Untitled.